good morning, good evening, wherever you are, whenever you tune in. I'm your local shaman, Lady Lighthouse, and welcome to the Light Network. On today's episode of Saved by the Light, I just finished up reading chapters 6, 7, and 8. Coming on to talk. Off the cuff, no prep work other than the fact that I made a few notes on where I put some highlights. But we're just going to talk about those few chapters. So, again, if you're just kind of tuning in, this is I I'm reading the book Saved by the Light, and it's a story about Dannion Brinkley, who is a person who was struck by lightning. Yeah, so like I said, I'm picking up on chapter 6 here. So kind of what the brief recap of what's happened thus far is um he was struck by lightning. He left his body. Everyone thought he was dead, and he went into the light, had his life review, and met 13 beings of light and was shown the future, as well as kind of his mission on Earth. So that's kind of where we're picking up. Hold on, I'm pulling back up. Chapter 6. Okay. So, the story has me emotional. um, but in a very good way, like in a very, very moving way. And I think I'm actually going to start near the back. I went to chapter 6, but I'm actually one of the things that's really standing out to me was the very last quote. He said, "If someone had told me about a near-death experience before I had my own, I would have made fun of them. Now I am one." And I just I don't know. I read that and I was like, I relate so deeply to that sentiment because I mean, I know I grew up very logical minded, very engineering science minded, very distrusting, not believing in the spirit realm. I was like, that doesn't make any sense. You're crazy. And had someone said something about like some of the things that I'm saying now, you know, many years ago, I too would have been like, you're on something. Like get help. So I get it. I get that sentiment. Um, but here we are. Doing it anyway. So I think I'm going to kind of work backwards through this a little bit because that's just what feels right to me. So one of the things they talked about in this chapter 8, was about common traits. There were 9 common traits that uh, people who have near-death experiences might exhibit or might experience during it. Very, very rarely does anyone have all 9. Um, I believe that this person, Dannion, is probably one of the first people that the researcher Moody, Dr. Moody, had come across. But I'll just give you the quick like highlights. So the first trait was a sense of being dead. So your body is dead. There is a feeling. The second one is feeling of peace and painlessness, in which you find that you're no longer connected to the pain or suffering that was within your body. The third common trait is having an out of body experience. So like you are aware that your spirit is floating away from your body or separating from your body or like hovering above your body. There's number 4 is like the tunnel experience. So if you ever see the whole adage of like going into the light or going in the tunnel or crossing the bridge, like that's commonly reported. Number 5 is seeing people of light. So it could be past loved ones, it could be um, other spiritual guides, a like beings of light. It could be a godlike figure, anything like that. You can get The next one is being greeted by a particular being of light, so typically like a spirit guide that meets you somewhere and they kind of like walk with you as you go to your life review. And so the next one is your life review, which we talked about in the very first, I think it was the very first video that we did, or very first like chat about this that we did, where you get to see pretty much your entire life in review, the pleasant and unpleasant aspects. One of those things being that there's actually a really good quote in here. Hold on. Where did I put it? Second. The life review process. Oh, this is just so good. It was Dannion's words were, "Be careful what you do in life because you have to see yourself do it again when you die. The difference is that this time you are on the receiving end." Letting that land for a second. The next common trait is feeling a reluctance to return. So once your spirit has kind of passed over this feeling of like, oh, it's you get bathed in light, bathed in love, bathed in like just this pure positive energy, that the idea of coming back into your physical body feels undesirable. It's like, why would I go back to the dense energy that is being in a human body when I could just live in all this love and glory? My camera has gone fuzzy. That's fine. We'll keep going. And then the last and final one that they call out is having a personality transformation. So usually after you go through your life review period and or you're getting this information and all these downloads, and all these downloads, but by the time you come back to yourself, or if you come back to your body, or when you come back to your body, because this is near-death experience, when you come back to your body, it's like your outlook on life has been totally shifted because of the information that you've seen and taken in, which is, I think a good thing. But one of the things that they also talked about in this chapter is the topic of death. And this has been something that I've been exploring myself, just with being a shaman, being able to channel, being able to connect with beings on the other side, is this whole adage about death and like where when you die, where you go, but like what even is death? And I like how it was defined here. This is on page 76. It says death, for instance, is defined as merely a change from one status or sphere of existence to another. Death is merely a change from one status or sphere of existence to another. And when I first read that, I thought about the death card in tarot that comes up, because a lot of times you get the death card and your first reaction is like, oh my god, you're gonna die, or whatever's dying, and it becomes more like fear or panic, when really the death card could just mean like a closure, an ending of a situation. And I like that it's like change from one status to another, or sphere of existence to another. Because yeah, for a very long time I like didn't want to think about death or contemplate death. I think that's probably fairly normal. I think most people don't really want to think about yeah, I think most people don't want to think too much about death, but and I think that's normal. I think that's healthy. And also it brings me a lot of peace to be where I am now, which is a place where it's like I believe in life after death. I believe that our spirits are going places. I mean, I'm a shaman and a channeler for Christ's sake, so I definitely believe in being able to communicate with them, or that they exist. Uh, the collective they exist. So it's like when your body dies, your spirit is still living on. I also believe in reincarnation, so that's another topic or another story. Uh, and so it's just like, where do I want to go with this? I respect death as a human. I respect death and the emotions that come up um, living here as a human and connecting with one another and connecting with other beings. Um, but I also acknowledge that your like when you die, your body is just it's your body that's dying, but your spirit, your essence of who you are is still living on. Um, and so when I think about death, and really what puts death in perspective for me is whenever I think about like my husband. To be honest, it's like I don't really worry about myself dying. I'm like, I'll be fine. like, um, but in like if I think about my loved ones dying, or I think about like my husband dying, I think about and that to me has always been like a signal of like how deep is my love for someone, is like if I think about them dying, how do I feel? And when it comes to my husband, like thinking about him dying makes me it makes me feel really deeply, like I feel very like I I don't want to lose their physical presence, even though I know their like spiritual presence would still be there, or I could still connect to them spiritually. Um, the like physical closeness makes me makes me sad to think about. And so I think that, but I think that's healthy, and I think that's normal. Um, hmm, yeah, and then just like they also call out in this chapter, this kind of building on the topic of death, is that um, I'll just read this for verbatim. They said they believe that upon hold on, who's they? They were talking about like kind of different religions, about like Mormon and Christian beliefs. They're saying like they believe that upon the death of the physical body, the spirit retains the five senses of sight, feeling, taste, hearing, and smell, and they feel that death leaves us free of illness and disability, and that the spirit body can move with great speed, see in many different directions at the same time, and communicate in ways other than speech, and that being more like telepathy. And to be honest, I mean most stories, most things that I've seen and read and watched, and all the things about near death experiences, that seems to track. Yeah, it's true. We very much do have that human desire for closeness and companionship. If there's anything else I wanted to talk about as it pertains to chapter 8. Yeah, the other thing that was kind of coming up about or in chapter 8 was people people having these experiences and not being taken seriously, or when they did share them, um they were either heavily medicated or said like, "Oh, it's the work of the devil," so like they couldn't get any support. And I think that's shifting. I mean, like I said, this happened. This person was going through this in 1975. It's 50 years since then. So, um, and there are now like Netflix documentaries or other documentaries on near the death experiences and mediumship and all that stuff. So I'm like, I think we're getting there, but I don't think it's as like widely as accepted or knowledgeable as it could be. But it does make me like personally sad to think about people being dismissed or coming back and having these like profound experiences and then coming back and people be like, "Oh, that was just a dream," or "That was just a hallucination," or "Here's some drugs," or you know, "You need to be cleansed," and whatever else. It's like I have hopes for the future that is improving and that together we will help one another and be more like kind and compassionate towards one another in kind of waking up to this and waking up to our knowledge of our interconnectedness. Yeah. Yeah. That reminds me that I had reached out to a local hospital, a mental health hospital here or locally to see if I could be of service, and I have not heard back. uh, anyway, we continue. Hello, hello. Welcome in. All right. The next thing that I wanted to talk about is, let's see. So, oh, I feel like I probably might need to flag this. Um, it's fine. It's fine. We continue. All right. So the next part I wanted to kind of talk about, we're just kind of working backwards from what I read. Uh, so I'm in chapter 7 now, and we're talking about one person asked this Dannion who, when he came back, all he couldn't stop talking about his experience and what he saw and what his mission was, and he was losing friends as he was doing it because it was just kind of like people are like, this man has gone crazy. Like, to be fair, he was struck by lightning. They thought he was dead for quite some time. I'm like they tried to revive him in the ambulance. They got him to the hospital. Like he went cold. He was outside in the hallway covered with a sheet, like waiting for the morgue to like people from the morgue to come get him when he finally like returned to his body. And then he ended up being, I guess we're kind of jumping back, but he ended up being in his body in the hospital for about like 13 days, and like people were coming and going, and they didn't really think he was gonna make it. Um, so much so that they even sent him home. Whenever they sent him home after about 13 days in the hospital, they sent him home because they were just like, let him die, like spend his last few days at home, like he'll be more comfortable there. It's just it like gives me that reading through this makes me reflect so heavily on like the different family members that I've been around whenever they've passed, because I'm like, I had a grandmother who passed in the hospital, and there was definitely like a silent like we were all around her, and then I remember it was just like a moment of silence, and then she like we could like feel her leave. Um, and so it makes me think about, I don't know, I haven't had a loved one pass away since I've become a shaman and like been near or whatever when been near them since I've become a shaman, but I did have a relative pass away a few months ago that as soon as I learned of their passing, um they came to me and gave me a message to send to, their spouse. They were a distant uncle. I wasn't overly familiar with them or like super familiar with them, but they I got a text that they passed away, and then all of a sudden, because I have office hours on my channel, and so all of a sudden they're like, "Hello, you now are aware of me." Like it was, I learning of their passing allowed them to kind of come into my mind. I was like, okay. um, And I do know I've read other stories too, and have other friends and family that when people will pass away, sometimes like the spirit will, in like a last ditch effort, will kind of do like a apparition or like go like appear by like a loved one like very briefly at the moment or very closely to the moment of their passing. All very good, all very cool things. Just kind of think about. But yeah, love or death is just so fascinating to me, or like the act of death and the what the spirit does when your body's dying, um, is just so fascinating. Because there's also lots of stories and lots of accounts of when people who are they're like getting ready to pass or like they're kind of transitioning, like elderly people often will have reports of saying, oh, like a loved one who has already crossed over is like appearing to them to like help them transition. And so it's so fascinating to learn about. Okay, let me keep going. All right. Talked a little bit about him coming back. We said he was one of the quotes I read that touched me was, it says, love truly can give life. Love can make the difference. And he thought that um right as his body was coming back to, or right as his spirit was coming back to his body, he was like floating over his body. He could sense a loved one, like, or he could see the loved one hanging out by his body, and he could feel the prayers of his family in the waiting room. And he could like feel the prayers, feel the love, and like as he was focusing on that, he felt himself become denser, and then return to his body, and then return to what it was, all of the pain that he was experiencing from being electrocuted by a lightning bolt. Um, and one of the things that he recounts too during this time is because his body was in so much pain and they were doing so many different things to just try to like comfort his pain. They weren't sure if he was going to live. His body was so not discombobulated, but like fried from the inside out. Um, he shared that a lot of the times that he was asleep in the hospital, he was actually returning back to the crystal city that he saw, that he had like left and gone to when he had the near death experience. And so he like kept he like kept dreaming and he kept learning and he kept connecting with that space and the light beings. It was just, and so he would like dream for several hours a day or meditate or have these deep visions or have these deep connections uh with these beings. And he's like, awake, the people around me were only waiting for me to die. And he said, asleep, I was being shown how to live a fruitful life. But he had, the thing was, is like, he's like, the pain was so great that I wanted to die, but he knew the truth that he was going to survive. And even when he would go and have these dreams and go into the Crystal City and was like learning about his mission and what he was going to do, um, he viewed coming back to his body as something that he was doomed to live because it was so nice there. And when he returned to his body from being struck by lightning, it was just such a heavy, painful experience. But as he was healing, he was working on, because he was paralyzed. He became paralyzed from this. But he had his brother bring him a copy of like Grey's Anatomy while he's in the hospital, and he started learning about the human body and the different muscles and the different way the body was put together. And like he would spend hours each day looking at the book and then staring at that part of his body, talking to it, says cursing it, trying to make it move, uh, until eventually he was able to like start to begin and get his like sense of movement back. And I put in the edge of the book here like focused intention. And to me, this like this retraining the mind, retraining the body by looking at the anatomy and like talking and is just like he was, to me that's like just like both channeling life force energy as connecting to the light and manifesting, using the power of the mind, using the power of the body to like your body knows how to heal. Sometimes you just need to help it. Sometimes you just need to help it understand how to put itself back together. But your body can put itself back together. Not that you're ever truly broken. It's just, and I think that's super fascinating. I've spent a lot of time in my own healing journey and with all of my health stuff too, doing similarly. I'm very fascinated with every time I was in the doctor's office, I was always super fascinated with all the like anatomical like depictions of the body parts and learning about how they all function, and getting to a place where I feel like my body's operating pretty good now. uh, so one of this guy's missions was when he came back was he's supposed to develop these like centers. Uh, they're like rehabilitation or like wellness centers that were supposed to have like 8 different modalities in there, that are more probably in the more like holistic realm of things. I think there's a combination. I don't remember if I called it out in a previous chapter. Do I have a list? Yeah, okay, so so there was 8 steps, but 7 rooms. So there was supposed to be a therapy room, a massage clinic, a sensory deprivation chamber, a room equipped with biofeedback machines, an area for readings, like psychic readings, a room with beds with like musical components, so like frequency, bed healing, and a reflection chamber. And then the 8th component was supposed to be a process where the person goes back to a room with a bed, and connect to the biofeedback instruments. But it was basically, the purpose was all about having these rooms to help show people that they can be in control of their lives through, it says through God, but I like the word love. Me, God, source, spirit, whatever, is just pure positive energy. It's the like energy of love, capital L, love. So I crossed out God and put love. Uh, the good news is that on 13 days after he was struck by lightning, he was able to crawl out of the bed and get into a wheelchair and go home. So that was mostly chapter 6. Now we're going into chapter 7. So he gets home, all the good things. And by say all the good things, I mean he gets home and he doesn't die, he doesn't fully die. Uh, but each night he is, each night he's learning these different lessons. But the thing is, now that he's not fully separated from his body, one of the things that he points out is that when he's meeting up with the beings of light at night, or whenever he's sleeping, um, he's learning the lessons in a much more like struggle way. So like when he had totally left his body and gone to the crystal city, or the city of light, or wherever, the next dimension, the information that he was receiving was just basically like here is everything in image form, like, and or like like telepathically told to him. Like he didn't really have to figure anything out. It was just like, here you go. But now that he's kind of back in his body, he's like, each time he's in the night going through, he's having he's like taking classes from the beings of light, but they're not giving him like, this is exactly what you need to do. They're basically being like, here's the end result, like this is what you're supposed to build, and this is how I operate, like this is how the equipment gets operated, and you gotta, like, he has to figure out how to create it on his own. And I circled the word deduction there because it's like learning through struggle and deduction. And I felt like that was really relevant. I felt like the the message, or the idea that we learn and create or co-create through struggle, and having like a balance with our logical mind, and deducing what feels right or what feels wrong or what feels good or what feels bad for us, or more enjoyable. And I also feel like if we were just given the information, like if it was just like, here's all the information you need to know, go, you wouldn't feel a sense of accomplishment. Like you wouldn't be attached to the outcome, or you wouldn't be attached to your goal. You would just be like, oh, well, if I just do this and I do this, like, done. Like, uh, I think that there's there's benefit, and there is a lot of hmm, I think there's the capability or capacity for like a stronger outcome, like internal feeling of joy and accomplishment and reward, if whatever it is you're doing, or whatever it is you're trying to build, or whatever it is, wherever you're trying to go, is not just handed to you, but like you have faced some amount of adversity. Because I'm just like, how, like, life would be so life would be so boring, or would be so uh unfulfilling, if, in my opinion, this is strictly my opinion here, that I feel like life would be really unfulfilling if everything was always handed to me, and that, you know, I didn't have to work for anything. If I just snapped my fingers and everything appeared. Like, I think while there are moments that I'm like, man, I really wish I could just snap my fingers and be at the end, and just like be in the good celebratory like feeling of I've accomplished this. I don't think the feeling of accomplishment would feel as big or as prideful or as like grateful if I just snapped my fingers and it just magically worked. I think there is a lot of I think there's value in adversity. And there's value in a little bit of struggle. I mean, I've found value in all of my struggle at this point, and I've done a lot of struggling in the past. But I do think that there's value in the struggle, and I think there's value in overcoming the struggle and celebrating the life that you have, you get, you experience, you've created because you created it. Like there's a beautiful sense of accomplishment when you know that you've created something. And there was a little bit of blood, sweat, and tears in that creation. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. All right. One of the things that they pointed out, I I highlighted this, which was super fascinating, was it was talking about like one of his dreams he got to see a tour of an operating room in the future. And there was no instruments or anything. It was like the only way they healed was with like a special light. There's just a little fly. Um okay. Focus. All right. Where they just use special lights. So it's like patients are given medication exposed to lights, and the lights change the vibration of cells within the body. They mention how every part of the body has its own vibratory rate. And when that rate changes, certain illnesses take place, but the lights help return the like diseased organs or like the organs that have kind of changed their frequency to like get them back at the right rate that they're supposed to be operating at. And I do remember the first time I started learning about like frequency and vibration, and people started to be like, everything's vibration, everything's frequency, all of, and being like, what the fuck are you talking about? Uh, and also when I did my own like step back from that, and I was like, all right, if I'm hearing it in more than one place, and I'm hearing it across, I started hearing it from I don't know, people I wasn't expecting to hear it from, I guess, or it was like starting to pop up around me. And I was like, all right, I'll do my own research on it. And I kind of went back and I started thinking about like frequency and energy, and went back to thinking about like physics and chemistry. And while I'm not going to give you a full physics and chemistry lesson, I will leave that to you to explore if you wish to. Uh, it was once I started looking at like the physics and how like molecules work, or how, and like remembering that like atoms and everything else, like they're held together but they are vibrating, and that like, and that light, if you look at like the spectrum of light, like we only are able to see a small segment of visible light, but like waves and frequencies and all that, I this is getting really, I don't want to go fully into this like super technical. um Moral of the story is do your own research, but I believe it's true. And to me, I have found enough scientific evidence that everything does vibrate at its own frequency and at its own um yeah, everything vibrates at its own frequency. And so, and that things can be kind of affected, and energy is real. So um while that's a little bit of a trust me, I just said it, do your own research, like come to your own conclusions. But the research that I've done, and having my science background, I'm compelled enough. I'm compelled enough to be like, yeah, yeah, all right, I'm here for it. I can see it. It works. I get it. Uh, Okay. We perceive separation that doesn't exist at a molecular level because our eyes aren't the most evolved part of us. It's wild to imagine. Yes. Imagine what we aren't seeing. Thank you, Retro. Yeah. Yes. That's why I love whenever I'm doing like any sort of energy work with people, I'm often closing my eyes because that heightens my senses, like my physical feeling senses, and I get the visualization of like in my mind's eye of what's happening, but I also feel it in my hands or my body how energy is moving, or even like the energy of a space. Like yesterday after my stream, I took my Palo Santo and I smudged a few areas, but there was only like a very few specific, like when I intentionally tune in, there were only a very few specific areas that I felt called to like smudge or clean, and everything else was like fine. But it was just like there's just certain areas where it's like I can, because I've worked on it, because I've practiced and I've like learned how to work with energy, um, and heighten those senses, I am able to perceive where the density is, or where things need to get moved. Yeah, yeah. I could only imagine if we could see with our eyes, uh, how the waves, like the frequency waves, were 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 moving. Like imagine if we could like step out of time, which time is its own dimensional construct. That's another topic for another story, another day. But like, imagine if you like come out of time and you could just see the waves of everything. Remember, like magic ink mess. Light, smoke, dust sometimes reveal literal patterns our eyes can't perceive without the assistant. I don't know if I'm familiar with magic ink messages, but I what you're saying reminds me of where people will put like sand on a table and then they'll play music either under the table or next to the table, and it will vibrate the table, and then the sand will make a pattern. They'll do that with sand, or you can do that with water, and you can literally see the pattern that's being created from the energy waves, the sound waves. Yeah, yeah. It's cool as shit. Hey. All right. I'm doing wonderful. Let's keep going. So, yeah. Yeah. So this next part, I'm just going to read this quote because I just think this is a powerful quote. It says, because this is so to kind of catch you up where we are, we're talking about how he's starting to lose his friends. His friends are thinking that he's talking like a messiah, you know, saying that he sounds like a R word fundamentalist, um, because they've never really heard of anything that's like a near death experience. And he was like, well, in fact, I had never heard of a near death experience, um, as well. And so he said, but I knew there was a great and powerful and glorious God, and I knew that the world on the other side was magnificent. In this world, I was living, breathing, and feeling the pain of the world. I also knew that through love and God, I could work my way out of this pain. And I know when I first read this, I misunderstood the in this world, but it was like separating, on the other side, he understands the city of light to be this magnificent wonder. But then when he came back to his body here, he's like, I'm living, I'm breathing, and I'm feeling all of the pain that this world has to offer. But he also knew that through love, and he says, God, again, I'm through love, I could work my way out of this pain. And I like this where he's like, someone asked him, if it's so great, why don't you just kill yourself? And I remember reading it when I read that. I was like, I think I cried. I cried several times reading this. I'm proud of myself for being able to talk about this right now and not cry. But I was like, damn, that's a valid question. And he reflected, and he shares that, regardless of his condition, even though he was at this point out of the hospital like a zombie, struggling to, get all of his movement back and spending a lot of his days like trying to move and then blacking out because he overextended or overexhausted himself. He's like, regardless of my condition, uh, the experience that he had gave him the inner strength to endure. And so he said, in my worst moments, all I had to do was recall the love that I felt emanating from those heavenly lights, and I could press on. And he goes on to share that, like, to him it didn't make sense to take his own life because he believed in the purpose that he was shown, and he believed in the life review. He believed in seeing his life review and all the good and bad that he did, and he had shared that up until this point, he had done a lot of like harm, a lot of hurt in the world with a lot of the work that he did. I don't know if I shared previously, but he used to work for the government, and I think he used to do some like special ops type stuff. So he in his life review he got to experience basically the blowback of all the pain and suffering he caused, not only the people he harmed, but the families and communities that were affected. But he did go on to say that even when things got bad now, all he had to do was think about like how much love he felt from those beings during that time, and somewhere deep inside of him like things felt better, even if like his physical circumstances weren't instantly improved, like internally he felt better. The good news is he saw an article in a piece of paper or in the newspaper, about, like I said, a Dr. Raymond Moody who was talking on people who have had near death experiences. He was a Georgia psychiatrist, and so he got to go hear one of his talks and meet him. But that is as far as we've made it so far. I'm just checking to see if there's anything else that I wanted to kind of bring into this conversation or space. Yeah, there's one part that I circled, and I'll bring it up, and that's the part about the nine different experiences someone might have whenever they have a near death experience, and it's like this reluctance to return. And he put in his words that he was like, I was forced by the beings of light and given the mission of building the centers to come back. And I circled that and put an X through it. Um, I mean, he doesn't talk about it explicitly, but all of the stuff that I know of about the beings of lights and spirit and all the things is like we do have free will, like we do get to choose. now was everything he was shown, like, did that compel him enough to come back? Yeah, but do I think a being of light was like, no, you're coming back, like, whether you like it or not? I don't think so, but let me. I think he talked about it in a previous chapter. Let me see if I can bring that into this space, because I'm like, I feel like forced is a strong word to put there. I don't know if I agree with it, even though, I mean, it's their words. Yeah, so he shares in a previous chapter, I think this is chapter 5, he's talking about, what the being showed him he was supposed to do. He's supposed to build the centers. Um, that humans with these centers, and when we learn how to reduce our stress, they would learn us humans would learn that we're higher spiritual beings, and we'd become less fearful and more loving of one another. Checks out. That's similar to what I've deduced in my own path. Let's see. He related each of those rooms to the ancient oracles of Greece. Okay. So he does say that he resisted his return. He liked the place. He didn't really want to go back, but his says the being of light said, "This we ask of you, you must return to fulfill this mission," said the being of light, and then he came back. To me, that means he got asked and his soul agreed, whether he at least a part of his soul agreed to come back. Maybe the ego part that had been suffering here on Earth was like, no, I don't want to, but there's there was a part of him that wanted to, because that feels, I don't know, that doesn't feel like a force to me. That's just my opinion, based on the words in said book. Okay. All right. That's chapters 6 through 8. How many chapters are even in this? 15. So we're a little over halfway done. Thank you for joining me on my little quest of learning about Saved by the Light. I'm enjoying just kind of coming on and talking about these different things. All right. What to do? Oh, it helps if I'm in the right section. And go ahead, turn this back up. I think just a second. I'm gonna run to the restroom real quick and figure out what I want to retitle us or where we're going from here. So enjoy the vibes. I'll be back in a couple minutes. Hello, hello. Alright, I'm back. I feel like I'm enjoying chatting, so I'm gonna do just like a chat hour-ish. If you're interested, just come chat with me about all things spiritual growth, healing, relationships, etc. Nothing, no specific planned topic. Just more of whatever feels comes into the space. Let's talk about it, you know? I like the Saved by the Light stuff. I like learning about death and those things. And now I'm like, what other questions or topics wanna talk about? Good to see you again, Digital Trek. I know I'll come back on later this evening. I'll probably do more like offering or like interactive offerings when it comes to either readings or things like that, but right now I'm just like enjoying chatting. I know yesterday I was working on going through some of the old VODs, clipping things. I was having a good time. I was having a good time with myself, and some of the little clips and videos and things I made. I know I have some ideas for. Gosh. Lie. I know I have some ideas for some other like Reiki videos that I'm thinking of doing, because I do like the 10 to 15 minute Reiki videos or like distant Reiki videos that I'll share on YouTube, but I'm thinking of making some shorter ones that are like more in that 30-second to a minute, good for a reel or TikTok or something, of just like a little, you know, consent or affirm within to receive, basically, and just get like a little snippet of Reiki as you're scrolling through, as you doom scroll all the social media networks. But I still gotta make those. That was an idea that was coming to me last night. And I was working recently on, I haven't figured it out entirely yet, but I was working recently on figuring out how to cross-platform stream. I think I know what I need to do. I didn't have the energy to do it today. I was like, that's fine. It can wait till tomorrow. But I did get some nice stuff done this morning because I was working on. I've been doing a lot of research and trying to find different like vending events and things to do like pop-ups at, because I think one of the things that, as we're moving into this AI age of not knowing what's real and what's not, getting in front of people and like actually going and interacting with people and people learning that you're a real human is important. So I've been trying to find different events that feel like the right space for me to come into, to go to. I got a couple of them coming up. I found a couple different like holistic fairs or moon markets, or there's one that I'm going to in August that's gonna be it's like the Devil's Night Masquerade Ball or something, and that'll be interesting because it's put on by our local satanic temple. And I'm like, I had to look up what that meant for at least my local area is like, what do they do? And so I think it'll be fine. Most but everyone will be dressed in black, and I'm deciding if I'm going to go and channel my boss babe in black gear, or if I'm gonna go totally opposite and wear my pink stuff. Both's a vibe I like to rock, so we'll see. I did get a new table from like Amazon Prime Day. I got a little 4-foot table for vending because a lot of places you need to bring your own table, and I need a 6-foot table as well. But I got a 4-foot one because that's one of the places that I show up a lot. That's their size, and since I'm going there more often, I'm like, this is good. But I got a pink one, and it's freaking adorable, and I'm so excited to bring my new like love deck onto that table, because I don't think I'm going to use a tablecloth. I'll probably just bring my little these like little placemats, these little like white placemat setting things that I put them on my like big selenite block, and then they're nice and clear and charged and ready to go. But I would love to know how's everyone's day? How is everyone's week going? What have you guys been up to? What's new? What's hurting? What's bringing you joy? Yeah. Mostly bored, just trying to pass the time. Yeah, I understand. I bobble in my boredness, where it's like sometimes I'm bored and I feel really energized to like go create and do something. And other times I get bored and I'm so bored, I just want to be I want to say a fish, but just kind of want to veg out and not do anything. That's okay. I feel like we're definitely in this like weird period of kind of like a pause. Yeah. Well, do you have a list of things that you like doing, Digital Trek? I'm looking at, I don't know if you guys follow the Schumann resonance at all. That's something I keep vague terms on, or like whatever. I have the app on my phone. It's just the Schumann resonance is basically what the Earth is, like the Earth's frequencies, what's going on with that, and it's affected by like the solar flares and everything. Let me tell you, last night into this boop, drop my phone on my keyboard. Last night into this morning, there's a lot of energy coming onto the Earth from a solar flare or something hitting. So, like I said, I don't read the graphs a ton or enough to like. There are definitely people out there that can be like, this is exactly what this means. And I am just if it's spiking, I just need to know if it's spiking, because usually if it's spiking, my dreams are weird and my emotions can be like, And if it's calm, things are good. Or if it's like really intense for a lot of days, or like back to back, like if there was a lot of different like solar activity, then usually my husband will get a migraine if it's been going on, if like it's excessive. Yeah. Something to explore if you're interested. But all that to say is like it's kind of like a weird. There's like some weird. There was a big gust of energy coming in this morning. So if you're feeling weird today, it makes sense. I am also feeling somewhat weird today, where it was just like like 2 days ago, I was feeling like, oh, I'm gonna like really excited to do some like trapped emotional clearings or like bring that into Twitch again or like into a Twitch space. Aw, thank you, Zarya. Zarya sharing a kindness ripple with a message. You are loved today. That goes out to me and also to everyone else tuning in. You are so loved today. Thank you for sharing that, Zarya. And you got 6 emojis there. I love it. Highlighting the number 6. Beautiful. Thank you. I'm like, what was I even talking about? Like, whatever I was talking about is just... Schumann resonance. Energy being weird. It doesn't matter. You picked up the vibe. Oh, I was saying, yeah, I was saying that I was thinking about doing like some Reiki or like mini trapped emotional clearing, and I wasn't feeling totally resourced, or I was feeling kind of like I don't know. The emotions were kind of all over the place this morning or today. So, thank you. Thank you for bringing that in. But I know it'll be okay. And I know it's like only temporary. And usually that's my sign too, of just like, you know, making sure I'm taking care of myself, making sure that I'm giving myself love. Because I know yesterday with the storms, I did not get enough sleep, and so when I had like two points throughout the day where my husband said something to me that like brought up some old feelings, and I was just like, I got to the point in the evening with him where I was just like, you know, it's like, I know this is mostly me right now. Like, I know this is mostly like I'm probably not self-cared or self-resourced enough right now. I'm like, the 2 comments you made didn't help. Like, I'd appreciate if you don't make those in the future. But I'm like, I also know that I probably just need some me time right now, or I just need to just go do something for me. And I was like, you know, in the future, if this like comes up again, I was like, I'll be gracious. Like, if it happens like one time in a day, like I'll point it out and be like, hey, you know, ouch, please don't say that. But if it happens the second time in the day and I'm still responding like that, I was like, I'm just gonna walk away. Like, that's gonna be my sign that I need to go for me. So just so you're aware that moving forward, if this happens again, like, this is my approach. And it's like, there'll be a grace period. There'll be a grace, but if it happens again and I am still feeling that way, I'm just gonna walk away and go do something for me, because that will be my sign that I need, like, I am not well resourced in this moment. So I did. I ended up spending the night watching. I don't watch anime hardly ever, but I've found this one that I don't even know the name of it, but it's like it's an anime about a psychic high schooler, and it's one of the only shows that I can watch and not feel like I need to do something else while watching it. Like, I'm actually like interested in like watching what's happening. Most of the time when I watch shows, like I have a hard time just sitting still and watching, like, with my full attention, unless I'm like with someone. So like if my husband and I are watching a show together, then I'll just sit there and we'll watch the show. But if I'm watching a show by myself, like, I am, you know, playing a game on my phone, or I'm doing Sudoku puzzles, or I'm doing like a word find or word search or whatever. Because I'm a lovely old lady. And I like to just sit there and do Sudoku puzzles while I'm watching TV. But anyways, this show is probably one of the only ones that if I watch it on my own, I can watch it and not feel like I need to be doing something else. Like I'm watching it, I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Because they talk about like different superpowers or different psychic powers and other things, and it's just like, and also I'm watching like the English dubbed version of it with the captions on, and the captions don't necessarily match the English dubbed words either. And so I think my brain enjoys that as well, because I'm sitting here like, oh, what I heard and what I read is not exactly the same, but I'm still getting roughly the message. So it's like a puzzle. I'm watching a show. I'm like watching a show that's like a puzzle to my brain. Now I'm like, I need to find what show this is. It's The Disastrous Life of Psyche K, I believe. That's the Netflix little trailer for it. Yu-Gi-Oh! Are you watching the show about the card game Yu-Gi-Oh? Or is it a different Yu-Gi-Oh? Yeah, I remember my brothers watched the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime series, I believe, when we were younger. Or at least I'm like I'm glancing at some of the pictures and I'm like, this is giving childhood, this is giving memories, this is giving flashbacks I didn't know I had. I'm glad. Okay, yeah. Yeah, hold on. Nice. Okay, I had to look that up real quick. Yes. Okay, I know what you're talking about. Oh, interesting. I haven't, because the Millennium Puzzle necklace, man, I haven't seen. I want to see the images. I don't want to shop. Got the Egyptian eye on it, or like the eye of either Horus or Ra. On the other side. Just the eye. Okay. Fascinating. Fascinating. Yeah, it's funny because it's like the psychic show, the disastrous life of psyche show. It's like I don't watch it a ton, but I was like drawn to, like I was literally guided to that show. Because like I said, I very much am in tune with my intuition and just kind of go with where I feel called to go. And there was like a few weeks ago, I went to take a bath, and I was like, I really like I don't bring my phone typically into the bathtub because I just want to I want to just kind of like lay there and like meditate and relax. But I was like, no, I really want to just like veg out and watch something. And so I brought my like little tablet and I pulled up Netflix, and I was like, what do I even want to watch? Because I don't like watching, like I've stopped watching like reality TV. I'm kind of like, I did for a long time. It served its purpose for a long time. But it doesn't connect with me anymore is the nicest way I'll put it. And I was like, I don't want to watch reality TV, but that, because I watched that stuff for a really long time, that's a lot of my suggestions. And so I was like, I don't know, what do I do? And I could feel my eyes being like guided on the screen, because if you've been around as I'm doing the oracle cards and stuff, it's like I go kind of where my eyes get drawn. And so I was feeling like I needed to go to the search bar. And I went and typed in, I like clicked on the search bar and typed in, I was like, what are you wanting me to type? They're like, type in psychic. Like, okay. And then a couple options came up, and it was like, which one? And I like watched where my eyes went, and I clicked on, and that was the anime that I clicked. Hey, Amber. I don't know what the bonk command is supposed to do, but hello. I do not have a bonk command. But welcome. We're just chatting. We're talking about anime right now. Are you watching any anime? I love this little dancing frog. This is good. I need to get some animated emotes. I'll figure that out. We're gonna figure that out. But yeah, anyways, it's cool. It's interesting to just kind of explore. Well, my soul can't be stolen. Thank you, though. Thanks for trying. uh... Go enjoy your breakfast. I'll drop the little lurk emote in giant form. Yeah, I've been thinking about other emotes to do, because I like what I've got, but I think I need something that's a little more, that exemplifies love in the way I want to exemplify it, and I need to rename some of the other ones, and like I said, I gotta get some animated ones. But I'm working on it. I'm figuring them out. I do them one at a time as I can. Or I should say, not necessarily, I mean, they are one at a time, but I do them as I feel called, because I typically, I'm kind of a slow starter in the morning. Like, I like to sleep in. I'm more of an evening person. And so I usually roll out of bed a little later, or like between like 8:30, 9:30, and then I'll go and kind of slowly start my day and do a little bit of like admin-y work for business stuff in the morning, make lunch, and then come on and do like streaming and whatever else. What's up, Lightseeker? I'm your favorite reader here? I'm flattered, thank you. Yeah, I was like, I'll probably get on later. I'm hoping later I'll be more resourced to do some, like, well, I'll for sure get on later this evening, to do some, like, reading, actual, like, reading stuff. Um, but right now I'm just, like, with kind of the energy and weather and whatever else, I just kind of, I'd say I'm well, but I'm also, like, you know, I'm also human and just kind of feeling the waves of emotion. So I'm like, we're just chatting for right now. But I was feeling like trapped emotional clearings were gonna come forward in an offering. So maybe they'll come forward this evening whenever I don't know, just in the night hours, you know? I resemble a younger version of your mother. I resemble a younger version of my mother too. uh, especially I got these new glasses and I'm enjoying them. I think my eyes are finally adjusting to them. They gave me a fishbowl kind of effect when I first got them, but it was very shortly after I got them that I remembered seeing a photo of both of my parents uh, when they were younger, probably closer to the age that I am, and they had big glasses. Granted, I think their big glasses had like rims all the way around, and I don't like the rims to go all the way around, but they were definitely like these big, like this big style glass or like glasses, and I definitely had a moment of like, oh man, I look just like my parents. I appreciate it, Lightseeker. I'm here to just chill. No, I'm okay. Thank you, though. If you already have one on like a social that's like public and you want to tag like Lady Lighthouse for me to check it that way, you can. Otherwise, I'm okay. I'll believe you. I had some whenever when I was doing like some of my like life coach training stuff last year, I had one of the women say at that time that I looked kind of like Lady Gaga, and I was like, I've never gotten that one before. I don't know if I see that one, but I did make a funny joke of like, well, I was born this way. Um, good. The hat's more of a, my hair was doing wild and crazy things today. One of the joys of trying to grow my hair out long is going, or like be long again, is going through all the stages of it being short. and and trying to figure out how to style it at all these different lengths, and especially because I don't really put any products in my hair. I haven't in probably like 8 months. We're trying to keep it healthy and encourage it to grow long and strong. But yeah, how's everyone else doing? Welcome if there's any newbies that are lurking. Welcome. Welcome to the Light Network. Welcome to the chill vibes. I'm your local shaman, Lady Lighthouse. Glad to have you. Typically I don't know. I just do whatever feels intuitively called into the space, and or whatever feels right for me to bring forward each day or each offering or each stream. So sometimes we move, sometimes we talk, sometimes we do readings of different sorts. Doing wonderful. You think you leveled up? Ooh! Tell me more if you can. I love hearing about leveling up, or I love hearing about kind of getting over, not getting over, but like, yeah. I love hearing about that stuff. Tell me more, if you can. Ooh, good. Good. I remember when I started meditating, am I doing it daily at this point? I do it almost daily at this point, because I'll send my distant Reiki when I'm doing my meditation. It's like I'll go into meditation, do distant Reiki, and then continue to receive for myself once that's done, or like alternate. Ooh, nice. Need to work on grounding. Like, if you got some points, we can claim a little mini ritual moment. We can help you with some grounding right now. Very nice. Let me see what way feels. Do you like sensations? Are you a visual person, or are you more of like a physical sensation feeler? Or both? Or no preference? Okay. Alright. To help you ground, anyone else that's interested in grounding, I invite you to, play along, listen along, try it. I'm gonna be in a seated position. You can be seated, you could be standing, whatever feels comfortable for you. But I'm gonna direct kind of based on where my body is. So if you wanna mimic me, that's kind of where I would invite you to start. So I invite you to take a few deep breaths here. Kind of sink into your body. Feels comfortable for you, I invite you to close your eyes. I want you to begin to notice your feet firmly planted on the ground beneath you. Begin to notice your hip bones, your tailbone, your butt, wherever it is in the seat, in your seat. You continue to breathe. I invite you to begin to feel gravity holding you here, pressing down from above, feeling the weight of gravity on your shoulders. Feel the weight of gravity pressing you into your seat, holding you here, anchoring you down. Taking another deep breath and feeling the weight of gravity press down in the top of your thighs, into your knees, to your ankles, to the top of your feet. Imagining you have a weighted blanket over your shoulders, holding you here, holding you in this space, holding you in this moment in your seat. You can stay here as long as you like, taking a few deep breaths. Just feel yourself being held by gravity, held by Earth, Mother Earth. If you feel so called, you can invite the light in from above. You can invite a release what no longer serves you to go into Mother Earth to be compost, and whatever serves the highest and best. Allowing it to leave your feet. You're anchored here, anchored in your seat. Arms at your side or in your lap, just heavy, stationary. I'm gonna breathe here for a moment. Whenever you're ready, open your eyes, begin to wiggle your toes, turn to your normal breathing rhythm. Run your hands on your body, whatever feels comfortable, right for you, but connect with yourself, your body, your protector. Sending you so much love and light. Namaste. You get those gains, Robin. You're welcome. Feel free to clip that. Feel free to come back to that. Feel free to use that. Use that technique. You can do that standing, you can do it sitting, you can do it laying down, but just the imagining, for me it's like imagining a weighted blanket or imagining gravity, whatever you connect with more, just like coming and just, if you want to do a weighted blanket, you could do a weighted blanket if you're laying down, and imagine that weighted blanket slowly being like pulled up from like your feet up over your shoulders. That's another good option too. Help your body feel nice and heavy, nice and rooted. Like grounding is like I become a tree, or I become a rock. Like channel your inner tree or your inner rockness. Yeah. Yeah. Some people will use the like roots coming out of your feet, and that one, like, I don't. If that works for you, that's great. That doesn't work for me. The root, like imagining roots coming out of my feet and growing, again, that one's not one that has been successful for me to try to feel grounded, but feeling gravity, feeling the weighted blanket, feeling, or even like putting on, like imagining like I'm putting a harness on and clipping into the earth, that works for me. I got big energy, so me trying to grow my roots doesn't work. I'm like, I need the visualization of like something else is like holding me down. Yeah. There you go. Weighted blanket it is. Yeah. My body's like, we don't have time to grow our roots into the earth to ground. We need instant, like, bring it down. That's why for me it's we're clipping in. I'm clipping into earth, I'm slapping on the blanket, whatever it is, it's just an instant, and we're down. We're routed. We're grounded. We're rooted, whatever. Getting the words mixed up. Anyone want to drop some love in the chat for Robin? Encourage them to go pump that iron, get those gains. See what kind of. Let's go! Yeah, let's use some let's go. Do some hype. Got this. There we go. Woo! Let's go, Robin! Be like, you can do it! You can do it! I don't know what you're working on right now, but I imagine you're lifting heavy weights, so woohoo! Good job. I knew you could do it. My celebratory hands. There's always next time. Oh yeah, don't pass out. Make sure you're staying hydrated. Take care of yourself. Eat some food. Drink some electrolytes. Well, sounds like you got the lesson, or like you've recognized what to do differently next time. So that's good. If there's anyone else that's new or lurking, welcome. Good. Your body thanks you. Yeah, welcome. Welcome to the Light Network. I'm your local shaman, Lady Lighthouse. We're just hanging out chatting right now. I do various offerings at different times, but we're just hanging out chatting for the time being. I'll probably come back on later this evening to do some more like actual join the queue type of offerings. But having a good time chatting. Welcome. Hey, Zabu Ninja. Zabu Ninja time. I like it. That makes me feel like I'm in the rainforest. But yeah, I welcome all sorts of conversations. Chat about anything, all the things. Always a pleasure to have you here, Zarya. Go enjoy your anime. I'll see you again soon. Oh, they were watching, I don't know if they dipped out already, but they were watching Yu-Gi-Oh! Or at least that's what we were talking about earlier. They were watching Yu-Gi-Oh! I was watching, I'm blanking on those, like, The Disastrous Life of Saiku, I think was the name of the one that I figured out. Are you an anime fan? And I should preface, if you were not here for that conversation, I am not very familiar with anime. The one that I am watching currently is the first time I've ever, like, watched it on my own. Not because I was just, like, in a room where someone else was watching it. Go take care of your body, Robin. Go enjoy some stretches. Very nice, very nice. I know there's so many of them. Like I said, the one that I... Oh gosh, I think I just swallowed a bug. Okay. I was gonna talk about anime, but I got, This is the best stream ever, guys. Good protein. I replanted all of my, plants that are in my, like, kind of office space here. A couple months ago. And I got different soil this time. I got more of like I don't know, I was like, I'll try this organic soil. And it happened to have like little like fruit fly eggs or something it must be in it, because they are in my home and buy my plants with the new soil. And I have little things that catch them, but for whatever reason, they just, every now and again, one will come by and likes to fly around my eyes, and they're checking me out. They're like, what is happening over here? Yep, nope, that one came by my mouth when I took an inhale, and I felt it. I felt it hit the back of my throat. Yeah, yeah. I try not, like, I gave them a chance, okay? I don't like killing things. I don't like killing bugs. I don't like killing animals, anything. And so I did try to open my window one of the days that they were here and like chew them out. It just didn't work. It didn't work. They just keep coming. They just keep breeding. They just keep populating, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. So I'm in a battle against the little tiny like fruit fly gnat things. I was like, I don't. No, I won't. I was like, I have these little like uh yellow things that go in the soil that are sticky on both sides that like catch them, and they get like stuck to them and then they die because they can't do anything. And I could show you one and how full it is, but I think that would be kind of gross. So I don't think I'm going to, but just take my word for it that there's a lot. Rip ant. Like, can I get a rip in chat? I don't think I have a rip emote. Does someone else have a rip emote? Ripperonis? Alright, I don't know what this is, but here you go. Rip pepperonis. Yeah. Yeah. We went and picked up, speaking of ants, we went and picked up our, like, community-supported agriculture box today, which is like a bunch of vegetables, like, from a local farm, or fruits and vegetables from a local farm. And while I was holding the box on my lap in the car, I saw an ant running around it, and I was like, you're fine as long as you stay in the box. But if you come out of that box and start crawling on me, I'm sorry, you gotta go. And I gave it a chance. It crawled on me, and then I like guided it back to the box, and then it left the box again and came back on me. I was like, all right. So I stuck it out the window, and it probably blasted off on the interstate. Like, I'm sorry, ant. You didn't stay in the box. That could have a really deep metaphor for life if we wanted it to have one. Maybe we shouldn't go that route. Maybe we'll just be like, rip ants. Have a collective funeral service for the ants that made their way into the wrong spot at the wrong time. Or their bodies will die, they'll go back up to the spirit realm, and then they'll be like, bro, what kind of life lesson was that? Hey, Moulier. You have a question, Lightseeker? I might have an answer. Let's hear it. Sounds good. Thanks for popping in and saying hi, though. Woman you met. She was astral traveling and you were meeting at night astrally. Okay. There wasn't a question there, but I'll give you a second to keep typing. You don't know how to tell her, or should I... You don't know how to tell her what? Astral traveling or like meeting up astrally? Nah, I mean, not necessarily. Is she, I mean, is she using this information about astral traveling to try to get something from you, do something with you? Because I'm like, I astral travel a lot in the night, but I'm not doing it. Things happened. Sexy things happened? Or bad things happened? Good things, okay. Gosh. Both met on. Okay. So if I'm understanding this correctly, or correct me if I'm wrong, but what I'm so it's you have both met each other in like during astral traveling, whether meditation or dreaming or whatever. But then you actually met each other in person, but she doesn't know that you're aware that you've met in the astral plane, but she's not aware. But you met in like IRL, 3D reality, awake. And so your question like what are you wanting to tell her? I'm not clear on the question. Is it normal? So is it normal to like... Let me... I mean, whether or not you want to let it go is up to you. Is it normal? Yeah, like for me it is. What other people say, that's, their own experience. I can't speak for. But it feels like it was more of like a... Or see how this lands, but a lot of times when we have really vivid experiences during meditation and like where like we really feel all of the emotions and things that are going on, those are often like very like energetic healing type of experiences, at least from what I've what I've come to know. And so I wonder if I wonder if that experience that you had was more of like an energy healing for you in the astral plane, than it was to like signify anything like that's meant to happen here. If that makes sense. Hey, the Poets guy. Welcome, welcome. I'm just chatting right now. I'm your local shaman, Lady Lighthouse. This is the Light Network channel, so welcome. Glad to have you. But I bring forward kind of intuitive offerings as I feel called, and I stream multiple days a week. I'll do an evening stream tonight. I'm in Eastern time zone. So right now we're just kind of chatting, talking about all of the different things as it pertains to spiritual or growth, healing, relationships, whatever. But otherwise I'll do like Reiki, other sort of like energy work, readings, oracle readings, love readings, kind of whatever's coming up in that realm of teaching, healing, growing, learning to love. So feel free to chat, feel free to hang out, feel free to enjoy the vibes. I do careers, like I'll do any type of reading later. Just not at this particular moment. We're just hanging out, chatting right now. But I do welcome you to follow and come back, so that way you can get notified and come get an offering later. You said there was something between us. Yeah. I'm glad you had that connection, like, in real life, Lightseeker, because I think, it could be deeply healing for both of you. And like I said, I don't know if you've been here for previous time, but I definitely believe in the adage that, you know, people come into our life for a reason, season, or a lifetime, so... They might be coming forward to, or like you had that experience in the astral plane to have some healing. You might have met them in person to help bring something to light that your team is trying to help guide you on. But don't put a lot of pressure on it. Just, you know, let it unfold how it's going to. And Zebu Ninja time, yeah, go ahead. Ask your question. Alright, Robin, you're asking, do I connect with and pass on messages from past family members? I do. It's not like an explicit offering per se of mine, but it has happened several times, just organically for me. So past family members will sometimes show up when I'm doing just a general reading for someone, like a general like psychic channeled message. They'll sometimes come in. They'll sometimes come in with some Reiki stuff too, if there's some message of love or support that might help healing come into the space. But I have had a couple instances where, like, someone... It's funny you asked this, because I actually had one of these a few weeks ago, where there was a guy I met through some, like, dancing that I'd been doing, because I go West Coast swing dancing, and he had shared with me that his father passed away like a year prior, and I have office hours on my channel, so like I won't tune into anyone without their consent, but I do have office hours on my channel, so like spirits can come through if they want to come through, not in relation to like connecting to someone explicitly. And there was one day during one of my office hours that person's dad came through and wanted me to take a message, basically. And so that's what I did. I just transcribed everything that I heard in a note on my phone, and I waited till I ran into that person again and asked for their consent if they wanted to receive it. And if they were open to it, which they ended up being open to it, and I showed it to them, and then they wanted me to delete it, so I deleted it. But I had an experience where, like, a couple months ago, I had I think it was an uncle, but it's like someone I was not super close to growing up. An uncle of mine had passed away, and when I learned about his passing, he came to me and had me take a message to send to his wife. And so I mailed her 2 letters. One that was like, hey, this, like, because I wasn't I'm not very close with this aunt, but it was very much like, hey, this is who I am and this is what I do. I'm your niece, and also I channel or get messages, and I had a message come through, you know, if you, like, it's attached in a separate letter, it's taped closed so you don't accidentally open it. If you don't want to, you can, you know, throw this letter away if you don't want to read it. But that's up to you. And I actually recently learned that she did open it. So, and from what I received through my dad was that there was like at least 2 points in there, like 2 names or like a nickname and something else in there that stood out that kind of gave her a confirmation that she was needing. But like I said, I take down what I hear, feel, sense, and I will share it if the person is open to receiving it. If like our paths align and I get their consent. Otherwise, I'm like, I need their consent. Like, I'll take a message, but I need our paths to cross, and I need their consent to share it. Good questions. Okay. He said, I'm wondering if I have to do a cord cutting. People have used my energy in the past. I'm just wondering how to do shadow work of healing from those people who have used me for my healing abilities. I have a bit of a wall up. Without like explicitly tuning into you, Zabu Ninja, I can't say whether or not you need to do a cord cutting, but what I will share as it pertains to like people using your energy and kind of shadow work and everything like that is the use of like a boundary book or a spirit boundary book. It's something that I created, one of the things that I highly recommend. I have my own. I was using it on stream yesterday. I put a couple boundaries in after I wrapped up some of the stuff that I was doing, but it's like having a place for you to put your boundaries for your energy, your channel, your mind, your body, your spirit. Not only helps solidify it for yourself, but also helps solidify it with your spirit team. We all have a spirit team, and we all have free will, and so your ability to, you know who you are and hold those boundaries, and also allow your spirit team to help you out. Like, they can only help you when you ask for their help. Otherwise, they kind of like they'll try to guide as they can, but they're not gonna do any like major interfering without you like talking to them. So like a boundary book is a good way to ask your spirit team for their assistance in providing like additional protection and things as well. And or saying, you know, where your energy can go and where it can't go, or who's allowed to have it, or who you're allowing to share it with. So the boundary book is really a journal, but it comes with two things. So I have like a little thank you slip that has example boundaries on it that kind of my like go-to, or like my top ones that I would consider, like I recommend starting with, because those were the like biggest game changers for me. And then it has like a slip of advice that's like, this is how you use it. A little bit more of like, create a ritual, like this is what this is. So boundary book's more of like the name or brand name, but it's like a journal to record your boundaries. Thank you. Trust me, I have my own. That was my game changer, and that's why I was like, I started it, and I was like, I need to share this with people. Like this is too important not to share. And so like I have mine, and I have pages of boundaries, and I add to it as I feel called. I started with a few, like probably 10 to 12 originally, and then I add into it as I want. I remove from it the ones that I'm like, oh, I actually don't need that anymore. I don't need it in this specific way. But yeah, it's really good, really helpful. Anytime I feel something come up where I feel like I'm starting to get frustrated because I feel like I'm not being respected or a boundary has been crossed, I'm like, what boundary do I need for myself? Like where did I not hold my boundary here? And then I'll go write it down. And once I write it down, I'm like, oh, good, okay. I know who I am. My team's got me. They're supporting me. Like, we're good. Oh, thank you for the follow. Hydration check. Everyone drink some water. Thank you. Sush Groove, I'm sorry to hear you've had an awful day. Sending you love and light, my friend. The Poet's Guy, if you are still here, kind of stream am I doing this evening? I'm probably gonna do more like of like different offerings. I'm not sure. Like I'll have the queue open. I haven't decided if it's gonna be strictly, or it hasn't become clear to me if I'm gonna do strictly like trapped emotional clearings, or if I'm gonna do like intuitive offerings of like you join the queue and then I allow spirit to guide me if we're in alignment for a reading, and I allow them to guide me in what comes forward. But it'll probably be a queue-based evening stream. Thank you for the follow. I almost said thank you for the Palo, because I read Poet at the same time. Ooh, ramen sounds good. Yeah, we'll see what comes forward. Like I said, I kind of go with the flow and do what feels right. Yeah. Like I said, stop in and see. We'll see what comes forward. Go for it, Moliere. Stretch break while you type. If anyone else needs a stretch, inviting you to stretch. Okay. Sometimes I feel like people have intense energy where they enter your mind field and it's hard for you to separate. Ooh. Yeah. Thank you for the follow, Melt Like Butter. I think that goes back to... I honestly think that goes back to using a boundary book and allowing your spirit team to help you there, because I think you might be so... like, our sensitivities are a gift, so by me saying you're being, like, you're so sensitive that you're picking it up, I mean that as a beautiful thing, like a gift to have that sensitivity. Thank you. It's just that your channel or your perceptions are so open to receiving everything that other people have, that they're able to just kind of like tap into your energy and like transfer the energy without necessarily... I don't think that most people that it happens to, or like most people that have that really strong energy, I don't think they know that they're doing it. Like, I don't think it's a malicious thing. I just think it's like the energy is just like latching on because it's trying to balance itself. But one of the things I definitely recommend is using a boundary book and saying, like, you know, Thank you, Melt Like Butter. I am not doing readings at this specific moment. We're just chatting, but I will be jumping on later this evening to do some more readings. And hold on, Willier. I'm looking to find how I worded my particular boundary around kind of energy sharing and things. Because I've changed my wording on it a couple times, so I think I've probably... one of the boundaries I put in here, so like about a month ago, I said I relinquish any tether, cord, or tie that I may have or have had with literally anyone else besides my union with my husband. And I said that only him and I in our divine union are allowed to share cords or ties. And then I have after I put that boundary in place, then I put some others on my channel that was around, like, some boundaries around, like, using a protective symbol and using a Reiki symbol to, like, source me and, like, clear clear canceling and deleting any cords that are connected to me that aren't my husband's or my animal companions. And I basically put that moving forward, unless it serves the highest and best, the cords of those I interact with each day are cleared, canceled, and deleted at the end of our interactions. And I even have one that's like, I call all of my energy back to me now from all walks of life, all timelines, all universes, all fragments, all particles from all. That I remove any energy that is not my energy and send it back to sender now. Like, I do not allow my energy to fragment off. I do not hold on to energy that is not mine. And any energy that's shared with others is sourced from source, not my body nor my energy field. Zabu Ninja, are you not in the US? Thank you. Yeah, since I ship just from here, I'm still trying to figure out how to do international shipping. So if that's something you are interested in, and you're interested in like being my test subject or test client on trying to figure out the international shipping piece, email me and I would happily, because I have them. They are in stock. I just don't know how to do internet, or I haven't figured out international yet. So if you are interested and you are international and open to it, please email me. Or like, I have that like, thank you. Oh, great. You should be able to buy them in Canada. Okay. Yes, please email me and I will gladly work with you to get it figured out for Canada. I should be able to do Canada. So my email should be that like info@ladylighthouse.com. It should be on my website. Sesh Groove, I read your message. I'm gonna say no, I'm not. If you got something from your guides, that's probably meant for you. I appreciate you asking, though. I like chess. No, I don't like chess. Is it on Discord? Yeah, I should have a link on my Discord that has like my link tree, and it has the link to the boundary books on it. You get a notebook and write affirmations. Should it work? Yes. Like, everyone that has bought one so far and I've like reached, or like I've been able to, they've shared their experience, they've all been like, yes, this has been so helpful. So I believe in them. I think they work. And if you ever need help with writing examples or coming up with additional boundaries or figuring out where you might need more boundaries, I do like awakening, like private one-on-one awakening support as well. If you want to talk more about like your specific scenario, and we can kind of like work together on what boundaries you might be needing to put in place. But it's also like you can change the boundaries at any time. Was it part of the boundary book, the energy calling back? I don't know if I put that specific boundary on my examples that come with it, but that's one that I did on my own, and I feel free to make a little clip of it and come back to that, so that way when you get your book you can write it down too. I love that you all are out here trying to figure out how to play chess with each other. I respect it. Yeah, I think my auto mods don't allow, or I think I have it set out so my auto mods don't allow links just out of caution. Cool. But yeah, like I said, I love boundaries. I love boundaries. I love working with consent. I love just like doing things that help bring you back to who you are, who you know yourself to be. I hope you all know that you're putting this in like the chat that is on my screen that will be on a VOD. Just as long as you're aware of that, you know, that's funny. I'm glad you guys could get connected. It's fine. Chess is a harmless. You're playing chess at your own risk. I'll say. All right. Funny. All right. Any other questions? These are good. I'm enjoying this. I will look. Like, well, I'm actually, hold on, while you saying that it doesn't work in Canada makes me want to look real quick. Like, it should work in Canada. I thought I had it set up to work in Canada. What was the most magical thing that happened to me this week? Most. So many different things are coming through my mind, but one of the things that is like feeling highlighted, or I'm like looking this way, is I bought some curtains, like a curtain rod for um my office space. It's still quite bright in here because they're just kind of like light filtering, but they're really pretty. They're really, you don't really get the details here, but they're really pretty, like not quite macrame, um, but they just have like a really, you know, they just have like a very boho, feminine, organic vibe to them, and yeah, kind of like lacy. And I put them up earlier this week. I was trying to have my husband help, and he got frustrated with one of the screws, and so I was like, just go, like it's fine. Like I don't want to put these up in anger. They're like, I'm joyful about them, and so when I put them up, I was just like, ugh. And I almost feel like I made my space here so cozy that I'm like, sometimes I don't want to like do anything because I'm just like, I just want to lay here and receive the good vibes that I have created. Um, so I think that's been the most magical thing, just because the magic has continued, even though I've had lots of highlights that I thought of. All right, you said, how do I slow down? I just want to get things done and make progress, but both my body and my tarot readings keep saying, slow down, be patient, pace yourself. Can't find the happy medium of slowing down while still moving. You're welcome. Thank you for asking. How do you slow down when you don't want to? Get things done and make. But how is your body? All right. Tarot readings, that's fine. But what is your body indicating to you? Like, how is your body showing up or saying slow down? Like, are you getting sick? Are you getting hurt? Are you getting exhausted or weary? Hi, Jenny. I'm great. Let's see. Ah, you have Hashimoto's. My mom had that, or she was diagnosed with that before she got lupus. Jenny, we're just chatting right now. I'll probably do more of like a Q-based offerings later, but we're just chatting. Hmm. I'm just gonna Sitting here thinking, hold on just a second. What do I want to say? I'm just bad at finding to go and do. Yeah, can I, not in, like, I don't know if we'd do it. Wait, hold on. I don't think we'd do it on stream, but can I offer you like a complimentary 30-minute like energetic surgery session, Robin? What, out of curiosity, what holds, like, what's the resistance there? Good luck with that, Melt Like Butter. My husband's been trying to get me to play chess for many years. And I have played against him, I think, one time in that amount of time. Okay, I might have played a couple more times than that, but I just lose. I play it for announced. I play video games with him. I think that's alright. Should have a hard time being open to it. Okay. I'm gonna make a note that I offered it to you, and if you change your mind in the next 30 days, let me know. Hold on. Until have a link. But yeah, like I said, I've made a note, and so if you change your mind, Robin, you got 30 days to come back and be interested to claim it. If not, that's okay. Absent that, based on kind of what you were sharing, and kind of learning to find peace and relax, to be honest, I'd recommend the resource. It's called Burnout and Learning How to hold on. Let me pull it up for you. Because it sounds like you're not allowing yourself to slow down, you're not allowing yourself to complete the stress cycle, and you're just kind of staying stuck in stress, which it's fine. Like, it's I was once there too. But this book, hold on. It's like that book, The Burnout Secret to Unlocking the Stress Cycle, is a good one, is a good read. That is an affiliate link. I gotta technically say that, so I will point that out there. So I may earn from qualifying purchases. But that is a book that I read myself, and it's definitely one that helped me a lot whenever I was constantly going. My body was on the brink of, falling apart, or was already falling apart, but I felt like I just needed to keep going. That would be a good resource to check out. And then the other tool I would share as well, and this one's free, is dun, 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 dun. Welcome Void Thoughts playlist. The other resource I'd recommend when it comes to learning how to slow down is I did a I hear ya. Is I did a talk, oh my gosh, almost a year ago at this point, on living beyond survival and practical steps to find joy and peace. And that kind of goes into the stress cycle. It's a lot of the information that's kind of shared in that Amazon link, but it's talks a bit about the stress cycle, and it talks about how stress shows up in the body, how our immune system is affected, and then I have 3 different ways to help move stress and help complete that stress cycle, help activate your parasympathetic nervous system. And so both of those are great for men. Both of those are great resources for men. The YouTube talk was a recording from what I did for a women's group, but I believe men still showed up to my talk as well, so it's like the same applies. But the other invitation I'd give you, Robin, is an invitation to love your body for how it's showing up, exactly how it's showing up. Because one of the things I kind of was picking up in your messages is like you're coming across that you're judging yourself for being fatigued, you're judging yourself for feeling kind of triggered or being sick all the time. And I as someone who was chronically ill for quite some time, I get it. I understand the frustration of like, I want to do all these things, but my body isn't, you know, acting how I want it to. It starts with finding acceptance for your body for how it's showing up. Finding acceptance, finding love, finding gratitude, finding appreciation for exactly how your body is showing up, and then figuring out how to like work with it. Yeah. I'm only laughing at the comment that reading the news helps me cry, just because it's like that was too real. Yeah, Robin. I think your first step then might be to kind of tune in, and the invitation, like I said, is to release that anger that you have towards your body and find acceptance for where you are right now. And find, like, honestly, you could even journal. Like, writing, you can write on paper, you can write on like a Google Doc and delete it when you're done, but like writing out like, I don't like this. I don't like this about myself. I don't like this about myself. And just like word vomit it out and get it out. And as you're writing, it will become clear of like, you know, why am I feeling this way? And then you can move into how do I overcome it? How do I find love for my body? How do I find love for where I am right now? But like, you gotta feel that anger first and acknowledge that anger and acknowledge the frustrations, so that way you can let them go and move on to another feeling. Melt like butter. The fact that you melt like butter, the fact that you haven't cried in 3 years, like, I don't necessarily think that's a problem per se. I mean, my husband hasn't. I mean, he cried one time at the end of last year whenever I had said I was leaving, but we've obviously worked it out. But before that, he hadn't cried for most of our relationship. Oh, melt like butter. You played Lightseeker, not me, in chess. I have not played chess with you. Yeah. I cry all the time. I embrace my crying at this point. Like, when I got on stream today, there was like a 60% chance that I was gonna cry on stream today. I haven't yet. That's okay. I am a Cancer Sun and Moon, Scorpio rising, so one and the same. You are welcome here, Void Thoughts. Or Void Thought. The Stellium, the 3. Void Thought. If I didn't know any better, I'd say you're copying me. Because same. Embrace those emotions, baby. Like, that's all you can do. Just ride the waves. Ride the waves. Yeah, I only know the astrology that's important to me and my sign and my relationship, to be honest. So anytime someone comes up to me and they're like, oh yeah, I'm a Taurus, or oh yeah, I'm a Capricorn, or it's the Capricorn in me, I'm like, yeah, yeah, right. But I know it was a Cancer. Your girl's got emotions. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you, Hit 'em Up. I appreciate you. And I'm also realizing it updated up there, but I'm realizing that the little donation pop-up did not pop up. So I'm gonna have to check on that. So thank you for calling that out. Make a note to check on that. Gosh. Thank you. You're a stellium in Scorpio. Ooh. Fascinating. My husband's a Scorpio. I always get along with Scorpios. I say this as if I'm like super in on the astrology. Don't be fooled. I'm not. I'm not. I just know Cancers and Scorpios because that's who I end up fucking with the most. It's like that's who I vibe with the most for the most part. Not saying the others don't come in, it's just I was gonna say stellium is not that common, I thought. I don't know. That's why it's cool that Void Thought popped in and they had one too. I was like, damn. My limited knowledge of astrology knows that that's not all that popular. I didn't think it was. I have the shaman tag. Do I do shamanic breathwork? I do, like... So I am a shaman. I do all sorts of different, like, intuitive offerings, but I do a lot of stuff with, like, energy work. I use breath sound and movement. Bug is back. Or a new bug. This next one's ready to be eaten, too. So yeah, breathing's associated with some of the stuff I do, but it's like, it's a bunch of different tools. Let's see, holotropic breathwork. No, I haven't, looking at this, it's talking about like accelerated breathing to induce altered states of consciousness. I have not done anything in that regard. If anything, I'm more like, let's slow down the breathing. I don't need... Yeah, for me personally, I don't need quicker breathing to get into altered states of mind. If anything, I just need to like do my opening channel like prayer and or just have my office hours open. Um, and to help other people, I don't. It's really just like the opening prayer and helping ground people in, and then like talking through kind of the sensation or visualization that's coming in, or breathing through. Yeah, I meditate a lot. I know there that I know that there are a lot of different types of like meditation and ways that people can meditate, and so I will vary depending on what my body's calling for that day. Sometimes I'll do like a walking meditation and I'll go barefoot walking down the sidewalk really slowly, and just like paying attention to my breath and my surroundings and the noises and everything. Other times I've shared on stream my like somatic movement. That to me is like a moving meditation, where I'm basically like dancing, but it's more like tuning into myself, my joy, my energy, and that gets me all juiced up, all back into myself. Yeah, exactly. It definitely changes. Like one style of meditation doesn't work for me at any given like every day, or there's not like a, oh, I can always do this and it will always work. Um, I I just gotta play around with it. Sometimes just taking a bath with some Epsom salts and just like relaxing is meditating for me. Other times I will physically lay on my Reiki table right here, and I'll put on some music and I have a sleep mask that will like black out the light, and I'll like open my channel and do a meditation. Um, long sit. You're bringing me lots of new words today. Zazen. Or Zazen. Do meditation. Okay, so this is more of the like classical, or like what you think of with meditation, where you're in like a lotus position, or crisscross applesauce, as the kids say. um, I've tried meditating like that a few times, but it's not as comfortable for me. I like to be to be honest, when I do seated meditation, or even if I try to stand and meditate, if I'm not moving, I sway because of the energy moving. I'll sway with the energy, and sometimes I'll get into quite a big sway. Uh, that's why I like, for me, if I'm gonna do a meditation that is meant to try to be as still as possible, that's why I like laying down. Why I'll go on my table here. No willful movement for 5 hours. That's impressive. To be honest, that's impressive. The day I was having my like shamanic initiation, I think I was probably in meditation for at least 5 hours that day. But I did have a break, or like a break in there, where I was like, I had a few hours of meditation, kind of came out to nourish my body, take care of my human needs, and then went back in. I don't. I don't. Some, like a lot of shamans do. I don't use plant medicine. I don't feel like I need it. Or it hasn't been something that I've called or like been called to use. I mean, I myself will eat eat intuitively, encourage other people to eat intuitively, but that's not, I don't use it in my practice. I don't use any sort of plant medicine, any sort of drugs or alcohol or anything like that. It's nope. It's just one opening prayer that I have. And energetic connection. Yeah, I'm very much a cat. I'm very much a cat. That's why I love my like office space, because my windows get the afternoon sunlight, and I have some different sun catchers. And when I do meditate, it's usually when the sun's starting to come in on this side of the house, or like the sun has come over the house. Yeah, you could think of it more like a shamanic Reiki. Also, to my Canadian friend who was looking at the Spirit Boundary book, I think I got it so you can buy via Canada. Well, thank you for the follow. I don't know what the shipping is gonna look like, so if that doesn't work for you, please let me know. But also, like, I don't know. I think I got it added, so Canada is a supported location. I just don't know what the shipping's gonna look like. It was lovely talking to you too. Yeah. You have a great day as well. Like I said, I'll be on later this evening, probably doing some like actual offerings instead of just chatting. So if you'd like to receive later, come on back. Otherwise, I will see you again another time. I think I got Canada added to the shipping profile for the books. It was working when at least it showed that it wasn't sold out. It showed that I could add it to the cart. Obviously, I'm not gonna check out fully. um, but that is, you could try it if that interests you. Alright. Your sun is in Libra, your moon is in Sagittarius. Awesome. Like I said, I'm like, I don't know what that entirely means. I have other friends that are way more familiar with astrology than I am, and so I either Google what I need to know, or if I am looking for specifics, I will check them out. Like there's a person on Instagram that I think their name is like the spiritual weatherman or whatever, and they have hundreds of thousands of followers, but they post things like a little update either every day or almost every day. And I was watching them for a while. I think I stopped because I was like, now I do my own energy updates, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. I don't need the astrology updates when I have my own energy updates, but it is interesting to check out nonetheless. The devil on the love card. Oh, I so relate to the bratty energy. I so relate to that. I can definitely get pretty bratty. I know, because human design is I know just enough about human design to like understand my own chart, but not enough to like read anyone else's in depth. But my human design chart was like when I'm not myself, it's like I'm in frustration, was like the emotion that comes forward when I'm not myself. And I think that checks out. Literally, like a few days ago, I went downstairs into my husband's office and I was like, I'm feeling kind of bratty right now. And I think I just need some attention. Like, Echo's coming to say hi. Hello, Mems. Yay! You're welcome. Thank you for... Oh. Here we go. We're back. Thank you for bringing that to my attention and being my guinea pig. How do I see tarot birth cards? Was that a question to me or Robin? I've never done a tarot birth card reading. I don't know that answer. Challenge the status quo and rebel against tradition. Yeah. Yeah, when I went through my Kundalini awakening and I got my message of kind of like what I was gonna do, I was like, oh, we're about to just really stir the pot. It's fine. We're out here. And yeah, this is Echo. She has heterochromia, so she does have two different eyes. Happy tail wig. Oh. And here comes Freya. Because I was petting someone other than her. So. Goodness. All right. Well, this has been lovely. I think I am going to go make dinner and chill out for a couple hours, and then I will come back on probably around like 8:30-ish, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, somewhere in that region. 8:30. 8:30 feels like it's kind of what's in my mind or in my heart. So, look for me then. Like I said, I'll probably do like actual reading things later. But I enjoyed this afternoon of chatting. Like, this was just good to connect with everyone. Aw, thank you, Zumba Ninja, or Zabu Ninja. It was nice to meet you too. So kind. Thank you. Yeah. Alright. Well, I love you all. I send you all so much love and light, and I hope to see you this evening on my evening stream where we'll be doing some intuitive offerings. So we'll see what comes through later. But thanks for chatting with me. Thanks for being open, honest, vulnerable, authentic, respectful of one another and myself. Keep up the great work. Keep up the healing. Keep it up. Keep it up. All right. Bye, my loves. I'll see you later. Mwah.